I wasn't the only one to experience something like this, though. So this was kind of across the board.
So it wasn't common, but it also wasn't uncommon. It was something that happened, was the clash of officers.
Yeah, it wasn't just officers, too. It was enlisted personnel within various parts of our mission. Because I worked in the S2 office, we had guys who worked in the S3 office, we had guys who worked in the compounds in the prison, we had guys who worked in supply, we had guys who worked in maintenance, we had guys all over the place, and I wasn't the only one to experience this. They experienced things like this too, where they said, you should probably change it, and they didn't. And the thing about it was, we were there doing this mission 5 months. This new unit comes in, the command unit comes in, and they decide they want it done this way, and we're telling them that's not really applicable to this mission.
Yeah.
And they didn't listen to us, and those personalities clashed almost every day.
Now, before the interview, I asked you how you felt about the U.S. government sending soldiers into Iraq. And you said you were neither for nor against their decisions, that you were apolitical. Could you elaborate a little bit on that?
I know it's hard to believe that I would answer something like that the way I did, apolitical. What does that mean? It's like, I always get the follow-up question, how can you be apolitical on such a political issue? My reasons for joining the military are still the same. I wanted to have fun, I wanted to get an education, and when I got there I found that the Army had something called the Army Values. 7 values which you're supposed to live by: loyalty, duty, respect, self-service, honor, integrity, personal courage. That I really latched onto. I like the idea of the Army being like that. The fact is that in today's age, you have to understand that the military is a tool, and they're a tool of politicians. We're not going to question, although you're going to get soldiers who have opinions, and that's normal. You're not going to question the higher mission. You're going to do it because you were ordered to, and that's our job. So if I'm told to do that, I'm told to do that. I let the politics play out however it is. I'll let the American people who are not in my position argue on my behalf. And that's the democracy I wish to defend. So, in terms of the issue, I have my opinions on it, but I don't believe that they're worth saying, because in my position as a soldier, I have a mission to fulfill. If I go ahead and say that the way I would normally say it, with the passion behind it that I should say it, it would just make for a worse situation than normal. My job is what I'm told to do, and I'll do that to the best of my ability.
Okay. Based on your experience in Iraq, do you feel that this war is necessary?
Necessary? Maybe. Again, same thing. Maybe, maybe not. But you can make a bad situation into a good situation. You can make a good situation into a bad situation. Situation after the invasion was probably a bad one. We didn't, in terms of strictly speaking, tactically and strategically, we weren't ready for an insurgency. Bad planning? Maybe. But we learned, and we're learning. As a big military, you have to understand, we were going from waiting to fight the Soviets who were going to invade, and if I had you in another history class, we'd go over this. We're going to fight the Soviets, who were a military built similar to us, tank on tank, airplane on airplane, whatever. But now we're going to one where the enemy's guerrilla style, hit and run, mixed with the civilian populace. So we had to change literally everything. And what we tried to do from my job was conduct what's called a counterinsurgency. And that doesn't mean killing everyone you see, because one, you don't know who the enemy is. 2, if you win the population, you could probably gain some ground in counterinsurgency. But winning the population just means like showing up, shaking their hand and smiling, letting them know that you're there to help. So in terms of, was it a necessity? Was it good? Was it bad? Yeah, you can't say, but you gotta make a good situation, like I said, out of a bad situation. Counterinsurgency is something that takes time, but we are doing it, I believe.
Okay. Do you at any point regret your decision to join the military?
We all say that, and we all joke within the community how we should have done the Matrix should have taken the red pill instead of the blue pill kind of thing. And at times, yeah, it got in the way of a social life where you have to understand the National Guard is supposed to active duty. We're civilians most of our life. And the Army, as we think of it, for a lot of us, not all, kind of gets in the way of stuff. Yeah, it hampered my social life a lot. But as a whole, I don't regret it at all. It made me a better person, and I think it's a great community to be in. Is it all great? No. Is there times where you just don't want to be there? Yeah. But overall, it's something that made me a better person. I'm proud to be serving in the military.
Now, on the flip side of that, what pulls you back? What makes you want to stay, and what makes you want to serve?
What makes me want to serve, like I alluded to earlier, the Army values makes me want to serve. The personalities that you come to meet in the military are all across the board. And I like those personalities, but in the end, we all have the same mission. We would all back each other up. We would all work together. It's the best team in the world, I believe. And it's not just saying that because we have to go somewhere, fight together and then just go home at the end of the day. We're there for each other 24/7 if we need it. And that camaraderie I really enjoy. And I think that's a good thing to have and a good thing to learn as a person. And you learn a lot of skills through that. And I'm not just talking like applicable skills like, fixing a car. I'm talking about how to work with people, how to understand relationships. And I think that keeps me in the military.
Do you feel that the efforts of yourself and the U.S. military are appreciated by the American public?
I think so. I think they are more than ever. We had a lot of support going into this, into our deployment. We had a lot of support coming back. The parents of our younger soldiers were there. The families were always there all the time, and they really did support us. They helped people who were going through marriage problems, financial issues, work through it, and all the array of difficulties you have when soldiers get deployed. They were there the whole time, and I couldn't ask for more support. And our command did a really good job of making our soldiers aware that support was there. Mm-hmm. And we kept good eye on some soldiers who were having problems and got them the help that they needed. And I think that is not an issue. I think that's a great thing.
Now, do you feel that you have made a difference in Iraq?
Me personally, that I think I feel made a difference? Yeah, for the time we're there. Is it going to help in the long run? I leave that up to analysts and historians and politicians and news telecasters and all of them to decide the big picture. But for what we did during our time, it definitely helped a lot of people, not just the soldiers there and the big mission itself. It did help some Iraqis. But believe it or not, even though they were prisoners of ours at the time, did support us and what we did. They actually did try to help. So I think it did a lot of good.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Field. When we come back, we'll have a little bit more on what a day in the life of a soldier was like, so stay tuned. Welcome back. My name is Christopher Sachs, and today I'm joined by Mr. David Field. We're just about to begin our Day in the Life of a Soldier segment. So, Mr. Field, what was the weather like in Iraq?
In Iraq, it was, as you would probably guess, it was hot. On average, it was